The afternoon sun blazed overhead as the teenager walked through the grocery store parking lot, his backpack slung over one shoulder. He just finished his shift at a nearby fast food joint and was cutting through to catch the bus home. His phone buzzed, a text from his mom asking if he wanted anything special for dinner. He smiled, typing back quickly before shoving the phone into his pocket. That's when he noticed the woman. She stood beside a sleek silver car, her eyes locked onto him like he'd done something wrong. He slowed his pace, unsure why she was staring. Maybe she needed help? But the way her fingers tightened around her keys told him otherwise. "Can I help you, ma'am?" he asked politely, keeping his voice calm. Her lips pressed into a thin line. "What are you doing here?" The question threw him off. "Just heading home." He gestured toward the bus stop down the street. She didn't look convinced. Her gaze darted to his backpack, then back to his face. "This is a private parking lot. You shouldn't be loitering." He blinked. "I'm not loitering. I work down the street, just passing through." She didn't respond. Instead, she pulled out her phone, her thumb hovering over the screen. His stomach dropped. He knew what was coming next. "I'm calling the police," she said sharply. The teen took a deep breath, fighting the frustration bubbling in his chest. This wasn't the first time something like this had happened. He raised his hand slightly, palms out. "Ma'am, I'm just trying to get home. I'm not doing anything wrong." But she'd already turned away, speaking into the phone in a hushed, urgent tone. "Yes, there's a suspicious person in the parking lot. He's lingering near cars, and I don't think he belongs here." The teen clenched his jaw but stayed put. Running would make things worse. Arguing would too. So he waited, the heat of the pavement seeping through his sneakers as the minutes dragged on. A few shoppers glanced his way, their expressions a mix of curiosity and unease. He kept his head down, focusing on his breathing. Then, sirens. 2 police cars pulled into the lot, lights flashing but no sound. The officers stepped out, their faces unreadable as they approached. The woman pointed at the teen, her voice rising. "That's him." He was acting strange, walking around like he was looking for something. One officer nodded, turning to the teen. "Son, can we talk to you for a minute?" The teen swallowed hard but nodded. "Yes, sir." Just as he was about to explain, another car screeched into the lot, a familiar blue sedan. The teen's shoulders relaxed slightly as the door flew open and a woman stormed out, her expression a mix of fury and worry. The woman who'd called the cops froze. The teen's adoptive mom didn't hesitate. She marched straight toward the officers, her voice firm but controlled. "What's going on here?" One officer turned to her. "Ma'am, we're just responding to a call about a suspicious person." Her eyes flashed. "Suspicious? This is my son." The woman who'd made the call paled. "Why your son?" The mom didn't even glance at her. She kept her focus on the officers. "He was walking home from work." "Is that a crime now?" The officers exchanged looks. One sighed, rubbing his forehead. "No, ma'am. It's not." Silence settled over the parking lot. The teen watched as the woman who'd called the cops shifted uncomfortably, her earlier confidence gone. His mom finally turned to her, arms crossed. "You got something to say?" The woman opened her mouth, then closed it. No words came out. The teen almost felt sorry for her. Almost. The air in the parking lot grew thick with tension. The woman who had called the cops stood frozen, her earlier bravado crumbling under the weight of the adoptive mom's glare. The officers, sensing the shift in the situation, took a step back, letting the moment unfold without interference. The teen exhaled slowly, relief washing over him as his mom placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. She didn't say anything to him yet, her focus was still locked onto the woman. "You called the police on my son," she said, her voice low but sharp. "Why?" The woman fidgeted, her fingers twisting the strap of her purse. I just thought he looked out of place." The mom's eyebrows shot up. "Out of place?" She gestured around them. "In a grocery store parking lot? Where people walk through every day?" The woman's face flushed. She glanced at the officers as if hoping they'd step in, but they remained silent, observing. The teen finally spoke up. "I told her I was just passing through to catch the bus." His mom's grip on his shoulder tightened slightly, not in anger, but in solidarity. She turned back to the woman. "Did he threaten you? Was he bothering anyone?" The woman hesitated. "No, but nothing," his mom cut in. "You saw a black kid minding his own business and decided he was a threat. Do you even realize how dangerous that could have been for him?" The words hung in the air, heavy and undeniable. The woman's mouth opened and closed like a fish out of water, but no defense came. One of the officers cleared his throat. "Ma'am, unless you want to press charges for harassment, there's nothing more for us to do here." The woman shook her head quickly. "No charges. I thought I was doing the right thing." The mom let out a bitter laugh. "The right thing? The right thing would have been minding your own business." The teen had heard enough. He tugged gently on his mom's sleeve. "Can we just go?" She looked at him, her expression softening. The fire in her eyes dimmed just a little. "Yeah, baby. Let's go home." She turned back to the woman one last time. "Next time, think before you call the police on someone who's just existing." Without waiting for a response, she guided her son toward her car. The officers lingered for a moment before heading back to their vehicles, the scene dissolving as quickly as it had begun. Inside the car. The moment the doors closed, the mom let out a long breath, her hands gripping the steering wheel tightly. The teen watched her, unsure what to say. "You okay?" she asked, glancing at him. He nodded. "Yeah. Just tired." She studied his face, seeing right through his attempt to downplay it. "That was messed up." He shrugged, looking out the window. "It is what it is." She reached over and squeezed his hand. "No, it's not just what it is. That woman had no right to do that." He didn't answer. He'd heard variations of this conversation before, after incidents at school, at the mall, even in their own neighborhood. It never got easier. His mom sighed, starting the car. "We're gonna talk about this at home." He knew she wasn't angry at him, she never was. But he also knew she hated that he had to deal with this at all. As they pulled out of the parking lot, he caught a glimpse of the woman still standing by her car, staring after them. He wondered if she felt guilty. If she'd think twice next time. Then the moment passed, and the car turned onto the main road, leaving the scene behind. At home. Their house was small but warm, filled with the smell of whatever his mom had cooked earlier. She kicked off her shoes by the door and headed straight for the kitchen. "You hungry?" she called over her shoulder. He followed, dropping his backpack on the couch. "A little." She pulled out leftovers, rice, chicken, and greens, and heated them up without another word. The silence between them wasn't uncomfortable, but it was heavy. Finally, as they sat at the table, she spoke. "What happened back there, it's not okay." He picked at his food. "I know. Do you?" She leaned forward. "Because I don't want you thinking this is normal. You shouldn't have to deal with that kind of ignorance." He met her eyes. "But I do. All the time." The truth of it sat between them. She exhaled, rubbing her temples. "I know. And I hate it." He gave her a small smile. "I'm okay, Mom. Really." She reached across the table, taking his hand. You shouldn't have to be okay with it. He didn't have an answer for that. After a moment, she squeezed his fingers and let go. Eat. Then we'll figure out what to do next. He nodded, digging into his food. The events of the day replayed in his mind, but for now, at least, he was safe. And that was enough. The next morning, the teen woke up to the sound of his phone buzzing non-stop. He groaned, rubbing his eyes before grabbing it. 15 missed calls. 22 new messages. His stomach dropped. He unlocked the screen, and his notifications exploded, texts from friends, DMs from people he barely knew, and a flood of social media tags. Bro, is this you? Attached was a video. He tapped it, and within seconds, the parking lot incident played out on his screen, the woman calling the cops, his mom showing up, the tense exchange. The clip had already been shared thousands of times. His breath caught. Who recorded this? Then he saw the caption. Karen calls cops on black teen for loitering, then freezes when his mom arrives. Thoughts? The comments were a mix of outrage and support. This is why I'm scared to let my son walk alone. That woman should be ashamed. The mom handled it like a queen. His hands shook. This wasn't just some small thing that would blow over. It was everywhere. Breakfast explosion. He hurried to the kitchen, where his mom was sipping coffee, scrolling on her phone with a deep frown. She looked up when he entered. You've seen it? She asked quietly. He nodded. It's all over. She set her phone down, her jaw tight. One of those shoppers must have filmed it. I didn't even notice. He slumped into a chair. What do we do? She took a slow breath. First, we don't panic. Second, we talk about how you feel. He picked at the table's edge. I don't know. Embarrassed, I guess. And mad. That's fair, she said. But you didn't do anything wrong. He knew that. But knowing and feeling it were two different things. His phone buzzed again, a call from his best friend. He answered. Dude, you're trending, his friend blurted. You okay? Yeah, just dealing with it, he muttered. People are roasting that lady online. Someone already found her Facebook. Wait, what? He sat up straight. His mom's eyes narrowed. What's happening? He covered the mic. Someone doxed her. Her face darkened. Hang up. Now. He quickly ended the call, but the damage was done. The woman's identity was out there, and the internet was ruthless. His mom stood, pacing. This is getting out of hand. The backlash begins. By noon, the story had spiraled. News outlets picked it up, framing it as another example of racial profiling. The woman's workplace was flooded with calls demanding she be fired. Her social media was a war zone. The teen's mom watched it unfold with mixed emotions. Part of her wanted the woman to face consequences, but not like this. She turned to her son. We need to say something. He blinked. Like what? Something to calm this down before it gets worse. He hesitated. You mean, defend her? No, she said firmly. But we don't need a mob ruining her life. What she did was wrong, but this isn't justice. He wasn't sure he agreed. After everything, part of him wanted her to feel the heat. But his mom's expression told him this wasn't up for debate. Okay, he said finally. What do we do? She grabbed her phone. We tell our side. On our terms. Going public. They filmed a short video together, no dramatics, just honesty. His mom spoke first. What happened yesterday was painful, but we don't support harassment or threats. This isn't about revenge, it's about accountability and education. Then the teen added, I just want to move on. Thanks to everyone who had my back, but please don't attack her. They posted it, hoping it would help. Within minutes, responses poured in. Some praised their maturity. Others accused them of letting her off easy. But one comment stood out, a reply from an account with the woman's name. I'm sorry. Truly. The teen stared at it. Was she sincere? Or just scared of the backlash? His mom sighed. Only time will tell. The woman's regret. Across town, the woman sat in her living room, her face buried in her hands. Her phone wouldn't stop ringing, reporters, angry strangers, even her own family demanding answers. She had thought she was doing the right thing. But now? Now she saw how wrong she'd been. She typed another apology, her fingers trembling. I acted out of fear and ignorance. I'm ready to learn and do better. But would anyone believe her? The apology comment lingered on the screen, unanswered. The teen read it over and over, trying to decide if it was real or just damage control. His mom peeked over his shoulder. You believe her? He shrugged. Dunno. Feels weird. She nodded. It's okay if you're not ready to accept it. His phone buzzed, a DM notification. He tapped it, expecting another message from a classmate. Instead, his breath hitched. I know you don't owe me anything, but I'd like to apologize in person. No cameras, no excuses. Just me owning my mistake. If you're willing. It was from her. He showed his mom. She frowned, thinking hard before speaking. That's a big ask. Yeah, he muttered. What if it's a trap? Could be, his mom admitted. But, what if it's not? The decision. They debated for hours. She had no problem humiliating you in public, why should you meet her privately, his mom argued at one point. But if she's really sorry, shouldn't I hear her out, he countered. In the end, they agreed on one thing, if this happened, it would be on their terms. His mom replied. We'll meet you at the community center tomorrow at 3 p.m. 1 hour. No recordings. And I'll be there the whole time. The woman responded instantly, thank you. I'll be there. The morning before. School was different. Whispers followed him down the hall. Some kids gave him nods of respect. Others stared like he was a zoo exhibit. His best friend pulled him aside between classes. You're really gonna talk to her? After what she did? The teen sighed. I don't know what I'm doing, man. Just feels like I should. His friend shook his head. You're a better person than me. A teacher stopped him after third period. The principal would like to see you. His stomach twisted. Now what? The principal's office. To his surprise, it wasn't a scolding, it was an offer. We saw what happened, the principal said. We'd like to host a forum on racial bias next week. Would you be willing to speak? The teen froze. Me? A whole assembly? His mom, who'd been called in too, squeezed his hand. Only if you're comfortable. He thought about the whispers in the halls, the stares. Maybe this was how to make them mean something. I'll do it, he said quietly. 3 p.m., the meeting. The community center was neutral ground, bright, public, but private enough for hard conversations. The woman arrived early, clutching a coffee cup like a lifeline. When she saw them, she stood up fast, almost knocking over her chair. Thank you for coming, she blurted. The teen's mom gave a curt nod. Let's sit. For a long minute, no one spoke. Then the woman took a shaky breath. I was wrong, she said directly to the teen. Not just about calling the cops, about seeing you as a threat when you were just existing. He studied her face. No tears, no dramatics. Just raw honesty. "Why?" he asked. "Why'd you do it?" She didn't flinch. "Because I was scared. And because I never questioned why I was scared of someone who looked like you." His mom leaned forward. "And now?" "Now I know better." The woman slid a folder across the table. "I've been reading. Talking to people. Here's proof I enrolled in bias training." The teen opened it, registration forms, book lists, even notes from therapy sessions. His mom's stern expression softened slightly. "This is a start." The woman turned back to the teen. "I can't take back what I did. But I'll spend as long as it takes trying to make it right." He believed her. Aftermath. Walking out, his mom exhaled hard. "Well. That was something." "Yeah," he said. "It didn't fix everything. But it was a start." His phone buzzed, a news alert. Woman in viral confrontation enters restorative justice program. He showed his mom. She smirked. "Guess we're not the only ones she apologized to." For the first time since the parking lot, he laughed. Part 5 of 8, 1,500 words. The school auditorium buzzed with nervous energy. Students shuffled in, some curious, others whispering behind their hands. The teen stood backstage, gripping his notecard so tightly the edges crumpled. His mom adjusted his collar. "Remember, speak your truth. Not what anyone expects." He nodded, swallowing hard. The principal stepped to the mic first. "Today's forum is about understanding racial bias, how it happens, why it matters, and how we can do better." Polite applause. Then it was his turn. The speech. The spotlight burned hotter than he expected. For a second, he forgot how to breathe. Then he locked eyes with his best friend in the third row, who gave him a thumbs up. He began. 2 weeks ago, a woman called the cops on me for walking through a parking lot. A hush fell. I wasn't loud. Wasn't breaking rules. Just black. And to her, that was enough to mean danger." He paused, letting it sink in. "But here's the thing, this wasn't just her problem. It's everyone's. Because until we ask why she thought that way, it'll keep happening." From the corner of his eye, he saw a teacher wipe her eyes. The unexpected guest. Halfway through Q&A, a hand shot up and back. The principal stiffened. It was her. The woman from the parking lot. Murmurs erupted. The teen's mom tensed, but he nodded at the principal. "Let her speak." The woman stood, voice trembling but clear. "I'm the one who called the police. And I'm here because I needed to hear this, to see the harm I caused." The room went dead silent. She turned to the teen. "You didn't deserve that. And I'm sorry it took losing my job and getting death threats to realize how deep this goes." A gasp rippled through the crowd. "She got fired?" The teen froze. He hadn't known. The principal stepped in. "We appreciate honesty, but this isn't the place for." "No, let her finish," the teen interrupted. The woman took a shaky breath. "I'm not asking forgiveness. Just, don't let my mistake make you cynical. Some people want to change." Then she sat down. The silence was heavier than before. After the forum, students swarmed him afterward, some with support, others with awkward questions. "Did you know she'd be here? Are you, cool now?" His best friend shoved through the crowd. "Dude. That was wild." The teen exhaled. "Tell me about it." His mom appeared, steering him away. "You handled that perfectly." But his mind stuck on one thing. "She lost her job, Mom." His mom sighed. "Consequences happen. But she's owning it. That counts. A new ally. As they left, the woman waited by the bike racks. "I won't bother you after this," she said quickly. "But I wanted you to hear it from me. I'm volunteering with a youth program. Teaching others how to spot their own biases." The teen studied her. "Why?" "Because apology notes aren't enough." She met his gaze. "Action is." For the first time, he saw her, not just the villain from the parking lot, but a flawed person trying. He nodded slowly. "Good." It wasn't forgiveness. But it was a start. That night, his phone blew up again, but this time, the tone was different. "Bro, you changed that lady's life. This should be a movie." He muted it all, staring at the ceiling. His mom leaned in the doorway. "Proud of you, kid." He smiled faintly. "Still sucks it happened." "Yeah," she agreed. "But look at the good you're making from it." Outside, crickets chirped. The world kept turning. And somehow, he felt lighter. The local news segment should have been the easy part. Sitting across from the reporter in a too-bright studio, the teen tugged at his stiff collar while his mom shot him a "breathe" look from off-camera. "Your stories inspired thousands," the reporter gushed. "How does that feel?" He forced a smile. Weird?" The reporter laughed like he'd said something profound. "And now the woman who called police on you is doing community work. Do you consider this a happy ending?" The question made his skin itch. Happy ending? Like this was some feel-good movie instead of his actual life? "It's not an ending," he said carefully. "Stuff like this happens every day. We just got filmed." The reporter's smile faltered for half a second before bouncing back. "Well, you're certainly wise beyond your years." His mom's eyes narrowed. They'd agreed, no sugarcoating. The backlash begins. By the time they got home, the comments were already splitting into warring factions. "This kid's a hero. Why's he giving that racist a platform? Fake woke propaganda." Then came the DM. "Keep lying for clout. We know the truth." Attached was a grainy photo, the woman at some political rally years ago, holding a sign he couldn't quite read. His stomach dropped. What is this? The unraveling. His mom took one look at the photo and immediately called the woman. "We need to talk. Now." An hour later, the woman sat at their kitchen table, face ashen as she stared at the image on the phone. "That was 10 years ago," she whispered. "Back when I believed awful things." The teen's mom crossed her arms. "And you didn't think to mention this before going public with your change of heart?" "I was ashamed." Her hands shook. "I thought if I worked hard enough now, my past wouldn't matter." The teen finally spoke. "But it does matter." Silence. The woman looked at him with wet eyes. "You're right. I should have been honest from the start." His mom exhaled sharply. This is exactly why people don't trust performative apologies. Damage control. By morning, the photo was everywhere. News outlets that had praised the redemption arc now ran headlines like, "Activists' dark past exposed, was reform all an act?" The woman's youth program suspended her involvement pending review. Her inbox flooded with fresh hate. Watching it unfold from his bedroom, the teen felt sick. Part of him wanted to be angry at her for hiding things. Another part wondered, when does someone's past stop defining them? His phone buzzed. A text from the woman. "No excuses. I'll publicly admit everything today. You deserve that much." He showed his mom. Finally, she muttered. "The truth." The press conference. They watched it live on their cracked living room TV. The woman stood at a podium, no tears, no dramatics. Just exhausted honesty as she admitted. I was part of hate groups in my 20s. I left years before the parking lot incident, but that doesn't erase it. Real change means transparency, and I failed at that. Reporters shouted questions. Are you still racist? Was your apology just PR? She gripped the podium. Judge me by my actions moving forward. That's all I can ask. The teen's mom muted the TV. Well, that happened. He stared at the frozen image of the woman's strained face. Do you believe her now? His mom hesitated. I believe she's trying. But trying isn't enough, she's got to keep trying, even when it's hard. The choice. That night, he drafted a post. People can change. But they don't get a gold star for doing the bare minimum. The work continues, for her, and for all of us. His mom read it over his shoulder. That's your voice, not theirs. She kissed his temple. Post it. He hit send. Within minutes, replies poured in, some angry, some grateful. One stood out. Thank you for not giving up on the idea that people can grow. I won't waste this chance. From her. He didn't reply. But he didn't delete it either. The email arrived on a Tuesday morning with a subject line that made the teen's pulse spike. Invitation to speak at National Justice Summit, urgent reply requested. He stared at the screen, reading the sender's name 3 times to be sure. It was the civil rights organization, the one his mom had posters of from their historic marches. Mom. His voice cracked. You gotta see this. She rushed over, still holding a dripping spatula from breakfast. One glance at the email and her free hand flew to her mouth. Oh my God. The message was brief but weighty. They wanted him to keynote their youth summit next month. Your story has ignited crucial conversations, it read. We'd be honored to amplify your voice. The teen sat frozen. Me? On a national stage? His mom squeezed his shoulder, her excitement tinged with wariness. This is huge, but we need to think hard about it. The cost of visibility. By afternoon, their tiny kitchen had turned into a war room. His mom scrolled through news alerts while he video called his best friend for advice. Dude, you have to do it, his friend insisted. This is, like, life-changing. But his mom wasn't convinced. Remember what happened after the local interview? Now multiply that by 1,000,000. She pulled up recent articles. Conservative outlets were already spinning the summit invite as radical indoctrination. One particularly vile comment section called him a pawn in the woke agenda. The teen's stomach churned. So I shouldn't go? I didn't say that. His mom took his hands. I'm saying know what you're walking into. Fame like this? It's armor and a target. The woman's warning. That evening, his phone buzzed with an unknown number. Normally he'd ignore it, but something made him answer. It's me, came the woman's voice, hoarse, like she'd been crying. They found out about the summit. My old associates. They're angry. Ice shot down his spine. What does that mean? A long pause. Just watch your back. And your mom's. The call ended abruptly. When he told his mom, her face went stone cold. That's it. We're calling the summit organizers and the police. The threats materialize. By midnight, the harassment escalated. First came the emails, know your place, race traitor. Then the social media burner accounts posting their home address. Finally, the worst, a grainy nighttime photo of their house with the caption, "Justice comes for all." The police took the report seriously but offered little comfort. Without an explicit threat, our hands are tied. Maybe get a security camera? His mom locked all the windows that night, her movements sharp with controlled rage. The teen sat on the couch, numb. This is happening because I existed in a parking lot. His mom suddenly pulled him into a fierce hug. We're not backing down, she whispered. But we're not stupid either. The decision. At 3 a.m., he typed his response to the summit organizers. I'll speak. But on 2 conditions: 1, no disclosing my travel plans publicly. 2, I want to address both sides of this, the hope and the hate. His mom read it, nodded, then added. And we need security. The reply came instantly, of course. Your courage humbles us. An unexpected ally. The woman showed up at dawn, her car idling outside. When his mom yanked open the door ready to fight, the woman just held out a USB drive. Names. License plates. Meeting locations from my old group, she said, her eyes hollow. I should have given this to the FBI years ago. The teen's mom took it slowly. Why now? The woman looked at him. Because I finally understand what doing better really costs. As she drove away, his mom exhaled. Well. That's a game changer. The calm before. With the USB evidence handed to authorities and summit security plans locked in, an eerie quiet settled over their home. His best friend came over, uncharacteristically solemn. If you need me to hide in your trunk as backup. The teen snorted. I'll keep you on speed dial instead. That night, packing his suit for the summit, he paused. Mom, what if I choke up there? She zipped his bag shut. Then you'll be the first honest speaker in history. They laughed, a brief, bright sound against the tension. Somewhere out there, danger lurked. But here, now? They were ready. The green room of the convention center buzzed with nervous energy. The teen adjusted his tie for the 10th time as event staff flitted around him, offering water, checking microphones, murmuring last-minute advice. His mom stood guard by the door, her sharp eyes tracking every movement. A coordinator handed him a folded note. From an audience member. Thought you should read it before going on. He unfolded the paper to find a single handwritten line. They're here. Don't let them win. No signature. But he knew. His mom read it over his shoulder, her jaw tightening. We knew this might happen. Security's ready. A voice crackled through the headset in his ear, 5 minutes to stage. He took a deep breath. This wasn't just a speech anymore, it was a battle. The speech. The applause as he walked on stage was deafening. Thousands of faces stared back, some hopeful, some curious, a few undoubtedly hostile. Bright lights made it hard to see beyond the first few rows, but he felt them out there. The ones who wanted him to fail. The mic squealed as he leaned in. 2 months ago, a woman saw me, a black kid in a parking lot, and saw a threat. His voice didn't shake. Today, some people see me on this stage and see a threat for a different reason. Because I'm proof their worldview is wrong. A murmur rippled through the crowd. He gripped the podium. This isn't a feel-good story about one racist who changed. It's about all of us deciding what happens next. Then, movement in the far left aisle. 2 men in dark shirts pushing forward. His pulse spiked, but he kept talking. Real change doesn't go viral. It happens in quiet corners. Liar. A shout from the disruptors. You're dividing America. Security moved fast, but not before one hurled something onto the stage, not a weapon, but a flyer. The teen glanced down at the racist caricature of himself plastered across it. The crowd erupted, some in gasps, others in anger. Cameras swiveled toward the chaos. And that's when he made his choice. He stepped off the podium, picked up the flyer, and held it up for all to see. This is why we're here. His voice carried over the noise. Not to hate them back. But to prove them wrong. The silence that followed was electric. Then, one person started clapping. Then 10. Then the entire auditorium rose to their feet. Except for the empty seats where the disruptors had been dragged out. The aftermath. Backstage, his mom crushed him in a hug. "You handled that." Before he could respond, a commotion erupted near the loading dock, shouting, scuffling. Then a familiar voice screaming. "I know who funded them." The teen and his mom exchanged a glance and sprinted toward the noise. There, pinned by security, was the woman from the parking lot, her lip split, her blouse torn, wrestling with a phone in her hand. "Let her go," the teen shouted. "She's with us." The woman gasped out her story between breaths. She'd recognized the disruptors from her old group. Followed them outside. Recorded them calling someone named Vance to report mission accomplished. The teen's mom snatched the phone, played the video, and froze. "Oh my God. That's State Senator Vance Carter," the woman finished grimly. "He's been bankrolling them for years." The reckoning. The next 48 hours were a whirlwind. The video went megaviral. The senator denied everything, poorly. Major networks picked up the teen's speech alongside the scandal. But the most surreal moment came when the woman showed up at their hotel room, her hands still bandaged from the scuffle. "I'm testifying," she said without preamble. "FBI's opening a domestic terrorism case." The teen's mom crossed her arms. "You ready for that target on your back now?" The woman smiled bitterly. "It's about time I earned it." The return home. Airport security escorted them to their gate after someone recognized them and caused a scene. Not a bad one, just a flood of teens wanting selfies, older folks thanking them, one TSA agent slipping them free lounge passes. His best friend greeted them at baggage claim with a giant poster. "My BFF exposed a corrupt politician and all I got was this lousy t-shirt." The teen laughed so hard he cried. Epilogue, 1 month later. The senator resigned mid-investigation. The woman entered witness protection but sent a postcard, first time on the right side of history. "Thank you." The teen's DMs were flooded with stories from other kids who'd faced similar prejudice. At breakfast one morning, his mom slid a letter across the table, an invitation to advise a new national campaign against racial profiling. "You don't have to say yes," she said. "After everything." He read it twice, then grabbed a pen. Someone's gotta keep proving them wrong. As he signed his name, the morning sun streamed through the window, bright, relentless, impossible to ignore. Just like the truth.